he's telling, even when I am in going through that, he's not afraid because God is with him, because God is his comforter, and God is who's leading him through that, and he is with him. So that's the reason he will not fear anything, because he knows that uh, the sovereign God, he is in control of everything. As we are also going through these times, which we probably would not have thought will happen, and like all the governments or all the countries have fallen under this. Nothing, everything has fallen. But we need to remember is that even though that is the case, but God is still sovereign, and he is still reigning. He is on his throne, and he is in control, and it is not something that has happened without his knowledge, but he has allowed it to happen. And we should rest assured that he is in control, and he loves us, and he has a plan even through this, uh, that he will make everything work for his name's glory, basically. And another thing that I want to point out is verse 5 and the last part. So um, probably I think this is something I just recently understood what it really meant. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. So if you look at this, we could basically call this Sam as a Sam of sheep. Like David being the sheep, he's writing about the attributes and whatever he knows about the shepherd who is leading him. So when we look at it, as David himself being a shepherd, he knows about the sheep, and he has been a shepherd as well. So um, the sheep, what happens? It sometimes gets strangled in the thorns and thistles and everything, and it gets scratches and all those things, and the flies comes into its nostrils and makes nest, and some kind of worms get into its nose and eyes and ears. This nose, ears, and eyes are very susceptible to all these worms to make their like as make it a host of itself. So when that happens, what usually the sheep does is that it will hit its head towards the wall or any tree that it sees, and eventually it will die off by hitting its head, because it doesn't know what is happening. The nest, the worms have made its nest in its head. It gets into its ears, eyes, and also nostrils. So it hit itself and it will die, or it will injure itself. So what the shepherd does is that he takes the oil and he anoints the head of the sheep with the oil. So what it does is that it makes a protective layer between the skin, or the skin of the sheep, and the worms that are coming. So what the psalmist is saying, we know how like David has been running from Saul, and all the tension, or whatever, I don't know, whatever you might call it, the stress, tension, and fear of his life would have been haunting him. But he's calling out to God, and he says God is the one who anoints his head, and all this different ideas, different probably anxiety or depression or whatever it is that comes on his way. The God is saying, like he's saying that God, you anoint my head so that I would be protected from all these thoughts, all these things, and uh, to keep him safe through this times. So the psalmist is asking God for his help to anoint the head as the shepherd anoints the head of the sheep, so that the worms and all the insect doesn't make uh, the head of the sheep his nest, and that the sheep does not eventually kill himself. So similarly, through these times, probably it's tough time for a lot of people. Let's pray that God will anoint our head with His oil, so that we may be at peace at these times, and God's blessing be upon us.